And I'm with Krystin Ruschman, one of my favorite friends slash students that's working with me in my coaching program. She's been amazing. And I wanted to have her on because her story, I think a lot of people can relate to. Real quick, we're going to let her dive into it in just a second. But, she came in with a lot of confusion on different parts of her offer and how things should be framed and everything. And she was doing okay. She was doing all right. But there's a lot of confusion, and we help find a lot of clarity. So without taking any of her thunder, I'm going to go ahead and let Krystin sort of just tell her story. I'm going to be here, but I'm going to see if we can make it bigger for her. No, that didn't work. All right, we'll just keep it here. All right, we'll just keep it there. I don't want to mess with all things. So, but anyway, Chris, please tell everyone watching about your story and about how you came to be.
Sure. So this is going to be confusing for people because I'm a nurse. I've actually been a nurse for over 22 years. I spent the last 12 years of that going around and helping various healthcare organizations roll out their electronic medical records, which, was necessary, right? So a lot of software implementation experience, a lot of background software configuration experience, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I did that for 12 years. And one day I got a phone call. I was getting ready to head into a huge meeting. And I was going to be the one presenting. It was like 5 minutes before I was supposed to be on, room full of people. And I got a phone call from my husband's work. And they said, your husband's been in a work accident. And, I know everybody's kind of like, oh, that's exactly how I felt in that moment. Everything just kind of stopped because we had been working in separate states for years. Like we were home on weekends, and so that kind of changed everything. I dropped everything, obviously, and ran. And just to get to the end of the story, he's okay. He did make it through that. He broke his back and had a horrible concussion, and it took him 7 months to get back to work. But at the time, we didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't even know if he's going to survive or be able to go back to work. So I had to figure something out. I had been playing around with marketing for like a year at that point, just kind of trying stuff. I think I had a Shopify store for a little while. That's just an embarrassing story to tell in and of itself.
So at this point, had you gone through any like online training, anything? What was your education like at this point? Curious.
No, I was just trying to figure some stuff out. I think I joined a couple of little programs or something so I could try to, hopefully shorten the learning curve. But I'm very analytical, so I tried to figure it all out myself.
So curious too, what was it the potential freedom of online? What was the sexiness of coming online that made you decide to go that route versus anything
else? Oh God, I was traveling all the time. My kids were homeschooled, and so they went with me everywhere. So at least we had that. But my husband and I saw each other on weekends, and I had been doing this for years. And he was out of town for his work a lot too. So, I just was trying to find a way to not have to be gone so much. That was really the main goal, was to be able to get our family back in one place. So I started playing around with marketing, and I thought I can do this. I think my husband and I used to have a motorsports business for several years before the economy tanked in 2008. I think we made our business last to 2010, but that was it. He did high performance engine modifications, and it was a very successful business until the economy tanked. And I thought, well, I'll do some marketing related to motorsports, right? So I started doing marketing related to tire centers. I was like, cool, I can do this. It's not exactly like you wake up every morning going, man, I'm so excited to do that. But,
right.
Sure. But I was learning, I was figuring stuff out. But when the accident happened, there was that moment where you had to sort of like reprioritize everything. And it was one of those sort of like poop or get off the pot stages. And we had some money saved up for a kitchen remodel that we were going to do, which all of a sudden became some non-important thing.
Right.
Because, given where we were at, I thought I was going to be the only breadwinner at that point. I didn't even know, what his health was going to be like. And so I took that money and I put it into a program, which you're well aware of, the 2CCX coaching program. Was Russell.
Was that your first adventure on any type of online infomercial?
That was the first time I laid some cash down to get some help. Yeah.
Did you ever done a course or anything before that, or was this?
Yeah, I had done little courses and stuff, okay. But courses aren't meant to get people results.
I mean, unfortunately, they don't tend to. But I was just curious.
They open your eyes to things, and
were they basic like email type stuff, or what were you, or was
No,
this
it's like
still you're doing
Facebook
overall?
marketing.
Okay.
It was basically Facebook marketing type stuff. Yeah, just trying to learn,
Gotcha.
the ropes on that. I mean, I'm a pretty technical person. I've dealt with software for a long, long time, so it wasn't like it was that hard to figure out. It was just new.
Okay.
And so, going from a nursing career to marketing, like I get that doesn't make any sense.
It's hard to bridge the gap
Yeah,
a little somewhere along the way.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I joined to CCX coaching program, and I'm embarrassed and humbled to say that 10 months into it, I hadn't actually made anything really happen, because I was still so busy trying to figure out the how. I
Right.
remember Russell sat us down one day and he said, "You know what your guys' problem is? You're so busy trying to figure out the how that you're missing the fact you need to figure out the who."
Right.
And it's shot through the heart. Like that one hit me hard because that's exactly what I was doing. I'm very analytical. I'm a very critical thinker. I feel like I have to understand and know everything and do everything. And it was totally screwing me up. Yeah, I
Mhm.
spent 10 months trying to do that. And finally, when he said that, I looked around the room and I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm failing because of my own stupid decisions. I need to find some help. So I went and found some help, and for the thing that I was trying to do in that program anyway, I found some help, and I made it through. And that was the first time I made like $30,000 in 6 days. And I was like, oh, light bulb moment, right? Get a coach, get
Sure.
somebody to help you. Yeah. So kind of fast forward, I mean, the whole goal was to get me home.
Hmm.
The whole goal was to keep me from traveling. And I was still doing those contracts at the time that I was going through that program. So I was also kind of splitting the fence. I had one foot on one side and the other foot on the other side. And it was just a wild, crazy ride. It was not a great time in our family because mom was basically always working.
Sure.
But I was trying to figure it out. And then finally, I realized that I didn't have passion around what I was doing. I didn't
Mm.
wake up every morning excited to help people with what I was doing at the time. And I started kind of rethinking, like, what should I be doing? And I realized that I really enjoyed helping people with email. It was kind of weird because I didn't wake up in the morning going, oh, I'm going to be an email expert. Like I said, I like to turn chaos into order. So I figured some stuff out. I got some results for me and for other people that I was helping. And all of a sudden I realized this is a thing. Like I know how to do this. I can actually help people. So I started helping people, and one thing turned into another, and people started saying, hey, you should talk to Krystin because she can help you with this. She helped me. And my calendar started getting full. And then I put out one tiny little post and I thought, well, I'll just ask people if they want help with this and see what happens. And in 2.5 hours, I had to shut the post down because I had 3 weeks worth of appointments, and I was doing it all for free just because I was sort of dipping my toes in the water.
Hmm.
And then one day I turned around and I was like, holy cow, I just had a $16,000 month doing something that I did not plan. I'm not advertising. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was going to get run over like a Mack truck is what I was going to do if I didn't, try and figure this out. So I started asking people, who do you know that can coach me? Because I'm in a place now where I feel like the best way for me to proceed, based on what I had learned previously with Russell, is I need to find my who. So I started interviewing people, and you were one of those people. I know
Oh,
you remember it because I interviewed you twice. Remember?
well, I did, and it was funny too, but I didn't realize this is where we're at. Okay, cool. This is cool. So,
Yeah, you didn't really know me at the time. I knew who you were. I had seen you before. I kind of knew your story. In fact, before I got on a call with you, I did some research. I checked some stuff out, like any good person would do. But
I
yeah, I
don't
had to
know.
talk with
I
you a
don't know.
couple of times, right? Because I mean, I was very specific, as you know. I'm a very
Very
specific
analytical
person.
person.
Yeah, I'm very analytical. So I'm like, can this guy really help me with what it is I'm trying to accomplish? Can he handle me when I have limiting beliefs? Can he handle me when I uh, really need to act on something and I'm just not feeling it? Which obviously you are, because we're here where we're at right now. But I
Thank
remember I started working with you. I mean, I signed on with you around the holidays, and then I even told you, like, I'm not even going to work on this until January 4th. I got to get through the holidays. There was so much family stuff going on. You're like, okay. Uh,
you.
so
When did we
we
start
didn't eat.
working on it, though? When did we actually start working on it? Like the
January
big stuff.
4th was a Monday. We started working on it, I think, then.
Mhm.
But I didn't actually start doing anything until like the third week of January.
Right.
And that was when I got my first sale based on sort of the new structure and what we were trying to accomplish. I mean, I told you what I wanted to do. You basically spent 2 or 3 weeks helping me put it all together because I had a lot of it. It was just structure. It was actually somebody just speaking into my life and saying, you can do this. Here are some things to think about. Let me ask you a few questions, some key questions, make you think about some stuff. And I finally had that voice that I needed in my ear.
Whole thing.
I mean, that's what you became. Because let's be honest, a lot of us entrepreneurs, we have other voices in our ears. We have the voices of our spouses or our significant others or our family or our friends. And they're saying things that are not necessarily speaking into our life. They're saying things like, how long are you going to keep at this before you finally decide to go back to your consulting career? How long are you going to work on this before you realize it's not going to work? And I had a lot of that happening, and I love those people dearly, but they just didn't understand what it was I was trying to accomplish. And I kept saying, gosh, even the federal government gives me 5 years, before they call my business a hobby if I'm not making anything. But anyway, I finally had you.
Let's talk about this a second, because when you came in, that was one of the things we had lack of clarity. You weren't sure what you really like. It was structured. You were doing consulting, but it wasn't consulting. You were trying to make your consulting into coaching, and then we figured out that like, hey, you have a program that if we want to scale, we have to put something replicatable in there and with steps and procedures. So let's talk. If you could just talk a little bit about that experience, about how we made that transition and some of the mindset, because that was true, some of it too. I mean, even the fact of, if you could talk about starting out with
my mindset problem.
Talk about it. Go ahead. That was some of the best stuff.
Well, I mean, when I came to you, I knew I wanted to structure it into a group coaching program, because there's just my calendar was like a brick wall. I wasn't advertising. I had a lot of people coming to me for help, and I wanted to serve every single one of them at the highest possible level.
Right.
It's just my nature. I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want them to look at my calendar link and go, oh my gosh, I can't get in for 2.5 weeks. That drives me nuts. And I wanted to make sure that every person I talked to had some value out of that, whether they worked with me in the future or not. And so I basically came to you and I said, I can't keep doing these one-to-one consults. I'm at my limit. I did the math. I literally have a little note right now that I could pull up that shows the math of how many of these I could do that would, and based on my conversion rate, which at the time was pretty good, it was like 42%, like how many people I could take on and do these consults with. And I was literally at my limit. So I knew I had to do a coaching program. And that was the first thing I wanted to work on you with, was like, how do I structure this whole thing? Mm-hmm. And that's what we turned out. That's what we started 3rd week of January. But leading up to that, I kept asking my clients, what do you need? You keep coming back with questions, keep coming back for clarity, keep coming back to be pointed in the right direction. And so I kept asking them, I'm going to keep talking to you for free, because what I really want to know is, what is it you need, so that I can develop it. And that's exactly what I did. I went to work developing it. And then 3rd week of January, we launched that sucker. And it wasn't even a launch. You and I both know I've not advertised yet, right? It wasn't even a launch. It was more just me sort of telling people, changing what I was saying.
Right.
And No, go ahead. What was your question?
That was the interesting. First of all, Chris Bailey says hi. So he says,
hey,
there's
Chris.
no comment. Chris says hi. So that was the interesting thing too, is you've gone from 0 to well over 100K now in 80 days. And we still are just now getting all your systems and everything in place to actually scale up, because that was one of the things too, is first of all, we had to decide what was your offer and how it was going to be structured. And then when you start out, I was like, right off the bat, I'm like, this is worth $5,000 worth of value. No problem. You're like, this is well worth that much.
And I said, no.
And what was your feeling? Even though you had results at that point, I think that you'd still, like, one gentleman had made like $200,000 in return.
Oh yeah, totally.
Of your program, but you were still mindset fearful that you were afraid the value wasn't there. Talk about how you felt for that.
I had a problem looking in the mirror and realizing what kind of value I had to offer people. The numbers were there. That was not a question. I knew that the people I had worked with had made well past 5,000. I have people that are making, off of a 2-day email campaign, I had a guy who brought in $180,000. It's not like I didn't know the numbers. I just, and maybe this is something other entrepreneurs deal with, right? But it's not even imposter syndrome. I know how to help people. And I tell people this all the time. I know how to help you, and I know how to do that really well. And the numbers speak to it. It's not just my opinion. What I had a problem with was I'm just Krystin. I'm just Krystin. I'm sitting here and, you can't see it right now, but I'm sitting up here on a mountaintop in Oregon, out in the middle of the forest, an hour and a half from town. I'm in a 10 by 20 cabin. And I just felt like I was just this Krystin, and to charge somebody a number that I had not done before was something I had to get over. And I remember you kept saying, you're like, okay, I'll work with you. We'll split the difference. And so I started charging, significantly less than what we were talking about. And then just for fun, I started changing the number, and I realized, oh my gosh. And I got more and more confidence, as we went along. I got more and more confidence. Yeah, Matt, totally. I'm glad you can relate to this, because I don't think this is new for anybody. I feel like every one of us has to get past these obstacles in our own head. And like I said, the math was there, the results were there, the client testimonials were there. I just hadn't gotten to a place where I felt comfortable saying that number out loud, because it was weird. Yeah. It was just weird. And so, but once I started saying it, and I have to tell you, like, it's a 180 now. I have no issues telling somebody that my program is $5,000, because guess what? I've had guys come in and make that back in 2 days. Do you want that or not? That's the question. It's not really about whether the value is there. It's about whether you want that result or not. So I don't have a problem with that. But man, you had a lot of work to do with me originally, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, you know what? That's half the battle. I think a lot of people don't realize too is beyond structuring everything and putting it all together and understanding your mission and who you were targeting. That was another thing too. When you first came, you were like, I'm helping freaking everybody. Everybody has email. So let's get them all lined up. I'm helping everybody. And we dialed in your message. And I think that helped so much more to be able to define your offer and everything.
Yeah.
And so much too is working through with you, because I have the faith in you, but sometimes we don't have the faith in ourselves initially. And I think that's a little bit of what you were having. And then once we started launching, you started having so much success. It was just amazing to see. I think you'd said before your best month ever was like 14 grand or whatever. And you're in that
16.
Right. 16. And then you're in that, 7 to 8 range or whatever a month roughly. But nothing consistently over 10K. And I think every month now has been well over 25, 30.
Well over. I reached 100,000 in 80 days. I had to go back and look, because here's the thing. A lot of people don't know this about Jeffrey, but he's always looking at the numbers, I'm not motivated by money. I'm really not motivated by money. I'm motivated by results. So a lot of times Jeffrey will say, well, how are you doing this month? And I'll be like, I don't know. I haven't even looked at it. I literally haven't even looked. I don't open my Stripe account. Honestly, I barely open my Stripe account, maybe a couple of times a month. And it's mostly because Jeffrey's saying, where are you at? What are we doing? How's it working? But I'm not motivated by money. So to hit $100,000 in 80 days, I'm sure that sounds really exciting to a lot of people. To me, what it meant that I knew I had a certain number of people in my program, and I knew that they were getting results, and I knew that they were getting on calls with me, and they were showing me their results, and they were showing me what they were able to do, not just for their agencies, but for their clients. And I already said I'm a nurse, right? So my whole goal is to help people. And every career move I've ever made has been about helping more people, or about helping people more. And so I wake up every morning knowing that I get to affect the lives not only of my clients, but of their clients and of their clients' clients. Like this is a ridiculous opportunity that I've just kind of fell into. I can wake up every morning knowing that I'm having an impact that's like fourfold deep, at least, that I can see anyway. And it's been such an amazing ride. And I couldn't have done that without a coach, because I would have still been telling myself lies about what I'm worth, or, whatever. It's a weird process to go through as an entrepreneur. I know I can help people, and that was not the issue. I just, when it comes to those kinds of decisions, those business decisions and those limiting beliefs that we all struggle with, that's where I was at. I was just having a hard time. And I also had all the negativity, right? I still had the negativity going, how long are you going to work at this before it's going to actually, turn into you just going back and getting a real job? And once I started letting you be the person that was speaking into my ear, and I was able to turn off the rest of it, that made a huge difference for me. Huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been amazing, and I've been honored to be a part of it. One of the things we're doing now for you is, by the way, everyone, that's completely organic. Everything we've talked about has been organic. We're now setting up all the
I don't even have a funnel.
Right. Well, that's one of the things I just going to
Funnel
talk about,
doc.
things we're doing now, which it's funny, me being the funnel doc, everybody thinks they come to me that we're going to build out all these crazy funnels. And initially for your first 100K, even, you don't really need that stuff. Now, once you've gotten to that 100K-ish, 60 to 100K range, you need, because really we should have probably implemented this around the 60K range, but Krystin was super hesitant about doing stuff. He's like, I'm just going to keep doing this. And I tried to explain the scale, we have to have this stuff in place. So now we're putting it in place. And we're really in the next couple months going to scale up, and we're hoping to get easily, 100,000 months here within the next 3 months is a realistic number, which is amazing to say. And I'm very happy for you. I can't wait to get there and be a part of it for sure.
And again, I'm not motivated by money. So I hear you say those numbers.
I know,
it's like, okay, that's really cool. But let me tell you what I am motivated by, because in the beginning of this, when I was kind of telling you how this all started and about my husband's accident and how we were working out of state all the time, when I first decided to go for it, we spent the kitchen remodel money on the program, right? And I was like, okay, both feet jumping in wholeheartedly. And the whole purpose of that was to get my family back together, because we were all scattered and doing, our different things, our careers. We had our chosen careers. And the first goal was to get me home, which took a year. It took a year for me to be able to do that. I had to finish out my contract and work double duty. I was working at nights on the marketing stuff and working during the day on the consulting gig that I was on. And just, I had to finish out my duties and my responsibilities. Finally got myself home to a point where I knew I didn't have to take another contract. And there were several months there where I was looking at them and I was like, should I, shouldn't I? Oh, I got to keep doing this, and all the negativity and everything. But I managed to keep myself home, and I've been home now for 4 or 5 years, 4 years. But the bigger thing was, now I got to find a way so my husband is not having to go out of town all the time to work. He's an electrician. We live in the middle of nowhere. So pretty much any major job he takes is going to be in some larger city. And that was still an issue, right? So on Easter, so was that 2 months ago? Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a little over 2 months ago. On Easter, our whole family actually got together and voted. Our older kids and everybody, even kids that aren't living with us anymore, we all got together and voted and decided that it was time to bring Dad home. That's cool. So I'm going to get emotional, darn it. Awesome. Anyway, okay. So he's been home for 2 months, and it's because of all of this. So it's not about the money. It's about what the money affords you in terms of the decisions that you can now make differently, the opportunities that you now have. And it's not, I don't really care about what my Stripe account says. What I care about is that my husband's home. So
you made me cry. So sorry. Damn it, I always gotta tell my mom, it's always her fault. She made me super hypersensitive. So it's awesome. I just want to say congratulations on everything. This is amazing. You've done such a good job. You worked your butt off. You deserve all the kudos and awards and impact you're going to be causing, because that's the other thing that I think is amazing that Krystin hasn't really realized is that she's starting to a little bit, because people are starting to tell her more, is beyond what she's doing in her own business, how she's affecting so many other people. That there are other people that she's in, not only with her emails, but she's inspiring people. Like, you've had people now that have even told you that you've inspired them beyond just email. Is that right?
Yeah, I actually just came off of a call with a client who just completed my 3-month program, and he's now looking at moving into my year-long program. And I used this time with him not to talk to him about my year-long program, but to actually just give him a taste of what that could be like. I coached him for an hour and a half. It was such a beautiful conversation, because I was able to speak to him like you've spoken into my life, to be able to say, you have this huge opportunity in the palm of your hands, and I don't think you realize it, because you think you're just, I won't use his real name, but you just think you're just, Jeffrey, little Jeffrey sitting in this little city in Washington, and you don't even know what you have in the palm of your hands right now. So I started kind of describing to him the journey that I would love to take him on. And it was one of those moments where you just know that conversation hit somebody really hard, because he was like, that is exactly what I would like to do. That is exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. Those are the exact reasons why I want to make this happen. And he's already, just in the 3 months that we've been working together, he's already started charging his clients quadruple what he's been charging his first client. So he doubled on one of them, but all the rest of them are quadruple what he used to charge, because I'm like, dude, you have serious value you're giving here, serious value. And people need to hear that. There's always somebody else out there in the world who can speak that into you. You just have to look around and find that person. And I would highly encourage anybody to get a coach. A coach is a necessary part of growth. I feel like that is so, so important. I would never want to go back to doing this by myself. I cannot even imagine not having my regular calls with you and just sitting and stewing in my own craziness that goes on in my head. I can't even imagine that. And I always tell the clients that come to me when they're thinking about like jumping into my coaching program, don't sign up with a coach who doesn't have a coach. Don't do that. You're doing yourself a disservice. I mean, I have to take my own advice too, and I know you have coaches as well. So like, I can say this, like, this is the true thing. We're all growing. We're just at different stages of our journey. And it's about finding the people that are ahead of you, that have the knowledge and experience that you don't. I remember my dad, when I was little, he used to say, Kristen, you don't have to know everything, because apparently he knew what my personality was, right? You don't have to know everything, he would say. You just have to surround yourself with people that have the knowledge and experience that you don't. And it took me until my mid-30s to freaking figure that out. Yeah, I remember the moment where like I got some clarity around that, and I went and told my dad. I said, oh my gosh, you've been saying this for 35 years. I'm just now figuring this out. Coaches are important. Mentors are important. You have to have other people in your life that are speaking into it to help grow and nurture you in the way that you should go. And I don't know what that way is, but I know that it's going to have the most meaning to you if it has impact on other people. And you got to wake up every morning knowing that you're having an impact on people. So anyway, so thank you. Thank you for everything you've done in my life. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Haven't even started advertising yet.
Right. So for the other thing too, so that's the other thing now, is Kristen actually graduated from my Funnel Accelerator coaching, where we do your core offer and take you to 100K, and is now in my 7-figure elite, where we're building out our whole ecosystem. Like she was talking about, our year-long program. That's other things that we focus on. So we're now building out everything, lead magnets, funnels, like the entire kit and caboodle to take her that 7 figures and beyond. But even beyond all that, the pumping up stuff, I just wanted to bring out the coolness of the fact that I have been able to impact you, and you now are impacting other people who are impacting other people. And I think that's really the coolness of all this, is in the fact that too, that you're now seeing that you're a coach and not a consultant, and the difference, and how a coach has a journey that they take someone on. It's not about, let me fix this problem over here and fix this problem over here and let me tweak that. It's about the journey and the experience, and so much more than just solving a couple problems,
Yeah. This isn't about problems. This is about setting you up for success long-term. It's about laying a solid foundation.
Yep.
Understanding where it is we're trying to get to, what are we trying to accomplish, and then let's lay out a path to get there. And let's lay those stones together. That's what the beauty of having a coach is that you're laying those stones together on that path to that place that you're trying to get to. And you can reroute a little bit. You can mold and shape what those goals are and what that end result is that you're looking for. But ultimately, you just want to have somebody by your side, helping you to and actually to keep you moving forward. I remember I told you on our interviews, remember? Both of them. I was very specific. I said, Jeffrey, if this is a program where I'm just going to be in a bunch of membership site content and, on a bunch of group calls, that's not going to work for me. I need somebody who's going to literally pick me up by the arm and say, let's walk 10 steps forward. Now let's turn right. Okay, now sit down. Okay, stand up. I remember saying that to you because I knew myself that I would find reasons not. I would find reasons why not. I would find reasons why I can't, why I shouldn't. And I knew that I was going to need somebody to, to basically just kind of slap me around a little bit and be like, nah, we're going to move your foot, move your foot.
Right.
We've had conversations like that.
Right. It's been quite a journey. It's been an honor to be a part of it. I'm so happy that we've been able to see such success with you. And I can't wait to see what's in the future. I think that you have unlimited potential, and I can't wait to see what happens. So if anyone needs to get email to your inbox, if you want to get more clicks and opens, talk to this lady. What's you right now is the best way? Just go to your profile and schedule a call, or what do you have as the best way right now?
Yeah, honestly, because we've not laid any foundation, and that's not your fault, that's my fault, because everything's been organic and I just am enjoying talking to people. Yeah, just go to my profile. We can pop a link in here, I guess, but it's Krystin Ruschman. I think it's Krystin Ruschman.9, pretty sure. But anyway, just,
there's 9 other Krystin Ruschmans before you.
Apparently so. I should probably meet them. I don't know. Facebook has a weird way of doing things. But yeah, so, just reach out on my profile. I'm a very transparent, very easygoing person. I'm more interested in helping you than I am in selling something. I always tell people I'm not interested in selling anything. I don't want to sell anybody. I don't want to close anybody. I want to help people. If that's something that I can do for you and you feel like that's a good fit, then let's move forward and make it happen, because that's going to be freaking magical. And I always offer people money back guarantee. I always tell them, if you get in my program and you think I'm a total turd bucket, which is possible, right? Then let me know. I need to hear that, and I'll give you your money back. I have one client that sends over $1 million a month, and he messages me questions every once in a while, and he says, after I answer his message, he'll say, #not a turd bucket yet. I'm like, please don't put that on Facebook. Or if you get in the program and you just think the content's crap, or you don't like my coaching style or whatever, I'm a very workable person. I'm not interested in closing people. I'm interested in making sure you get results, because right now, as you know, I don't advertise. It's all organic. So your results are literally my results.
Now. They should maybe get it now, because when in a couple of months it's going to be scaled up and stuff's going to be changed a lot. So,
Oh man, I'm so excited though. I'm so excited. I have so many awesome things coming into the program right now. I can't even tell you.
I know. I'm excited for it. Cool. Well, thank you for your time. And if anyone wants to learn more about my program, go to funneldoc.com/FAC. That's funneldoc.com/FAC. It's been an honor, as always. I'll see you on Friday, of course, on a call. But if anyone has any questions or email questions or anything like that, even if you're watching the replay, give us a #replay or a #live. You're watching live, and be sure to drop some questions. I know Krystin loves helping people out and would love to come in here and give you some insight on how you can get those opens, clicks, and people to start replying your emails, because that was one thing that's cool that's been working with you. Like, I know a decent amount of email, but it's more copy-based and stuff like that. We're working with you. You're very technically based to some degree. I mean, there's other aspects, but a lot of your stuff is very black and white. And when I started looking at it and you started pointing out certain things and educating me to certain things about it, I was like, wow, you don't just realize the difference, because just because it's getting there doesn't mean it's getting open. And just because it gets open doesn't mean it's getting clicked, and everything in between. So, yeah.
I'm a nurse, man. You got to think about the psychology. It's funny how many people think that email deliverability is all about technical stuff like DNS settings and stuff like that. That's 5%. Maybe that's 5%. That's going to help you get there initially. But in 2 to 4 weeks, if that's all you got, it's going to all fall apart from there, because your domain reputation is going to start to go downhill if you don't understand how to get people to positively engage with your stuff. How do you get them to open? How do you get them to click? How do you get them to reply? How do you get them to not mark it as spam? How do you turn unsubscribe from being some stupid link at the bottom of your email that we all think we have to have by law? How do you turn that into the art of the unsubscribe, where now you're actually using it to get much better engagement and even paying clients off of unsubscribers? All of that kind of stuff. If you don't understand those kinds of things, the psychology of email marketing, and on top of that, the volume and the consistency aspects, if you don't understand the best practices around that, then you're going to be average. Maybe you're going to be like everybody else. I'm not interested in average. I don't know about you guys watching this, but I'm not interested in average. I'm interested in not even above average. I'm interested in excellence. So when people are looking at their numbers with me, and I'm like, well, I mean, that's okay if you want to stay average, but we're shooting for the moon here.
Yep. And by the way, Krystin, she does affects every email, but she specializes in high level right now. So if you're a high level user and you're having problems, reach out to her, because I don't know anyone that knows better than her. Literally, the owners of high level themselves go to her for advice.
They have my calendar link. The whole help desk has my calendar link.
Right. Yeah. So if you need help, seek this lady out. She will literally help you out to the best of her ability. And if she can, she'll change your life. So definitely seek her out again. ask questions in here, just so that we cover everyone that knows she joined. We went over, and that was the funny thing too, is in your offer, initially we had a shorter program and decided to extend it out because we wanted to be able to give that follow-up. Initially, you're like, everything happened so quick in 30 days. I'm like, well, this really needs to be longer. And we decided that there needed to be more of that follow-up because there was more optimization and everything that had to be into it.
Yeah. If we stop after a month, again, we're not doing anybody a good service here. I need 3 months of your time so that we can make sure that we get absolutely the best results possible.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the thing too, that not that you ever didn't focus on that, but the thing that I wanted so much was to make sure we were able to get consistent results throughout the whole thing, because it's so important.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to be, there's so much fluff out there. We don't want to be part of that anymore. We want our programs that, sure, they cost a couple pretty pennies, to get into them, but the value is well worth 20 to 30 times that.
Oh yeah.
And that's what it has to be. Like, it has to be that. If we can't provide that, then we as coaches are falling short,
Yep.
So.
It has to be a value-driven kind of a process. It can't be about money. And I'm not interested in people's opinion when it comes to email deliverability results. It's not my opinion whether something's working, or your opinion, frankly, whether something's working or not. It's in the numbers. We can see it. So we in the 3 months that I'm working with people, we're going to sort of like run some baseline tests and make sure we get all of the understanding of what it is currently. And then we're just going to move up from there. And you and I are both going to see it and watch it happen. And your clients are going to watch it happen, and you turn those into case studies. This is why that client I just talked to this morning was able to quadruple what he charges people for what he does, because he has case studies. Yep. He was able to turn everything that we did around into case studies and be like, you want that? Okay, here's the number. And they'll gladly pay it. They're not even balking at it because they can see it all in objective data. It's not an opinion. It's not a hope. It's not a pipe dream. This is happening.
Awesome. Well, I don't see any questions popping up anyone directly. They might have some later. Krystin, thanks again so much for being on. It's been a pleasure interviewing you and talking about your story and the success you had. And again, I'm just so happy to be a part of it and have helped you to take those numbers and, I guess, triple them, basically, what we've done.
If
you really think about it, I guess that's it, right? We've tripled
That's hilarious.
So anyway, it's going to be way higher than that, which, again, I know you don't care about numbers, but that's one of the things that everybody else likes to track. So
I care about numbers. They just don't have dollar signs in front of them.
Well,
unless it's for a client.
It is because, like, here's the deal too, is those numbers allow you to be able to impact people on a greater scale. I mean, and it allows you to have the life. Like the other day, that was so cool. And you're like, I'm going to take some time off, and you went and spent time with your family, and it was totally fine, and everything was great. But if you were in this situation, you wouldn't be able to do those type of things,
Right.
So, and like I said, it's an honor of mine to be able to help take you to that spot so that you can have that freedom and I mean, as crazy as dream life to some,
I picked the right guy.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Anyway, well, thanks everyone so much for being on. Krystin, thanks again. I will see you tomorrow on a call, and everyone have an amazing day, and we are out of here.